Well, this certainly is an all too common story. Fire tears through an apartment building, leaving families with nothing but the clothes on their backs. Groups like the Red Cross jump into action to help with temporary housing.
Donations of food and clothes pour in, but what's next, especially for working families living from paycheck to paycheck?
Well, I recently followed up on a fire that displaced dozens of apartment tenants and found out how one local nonprofit is making sure no one is left behind. Wednesday, June 22nd. It started as just a typical hot summer day at the Foxcroft apartments, but almost in an instant, families stood in shock watching fire crews try to tame a blaze that spread so quickly. When the last flames died down, Building B and all 20 units were gone.
Of course, they were afraid. They were devastated. The conditions of the complex were, that whole building was just burnt to a crisp. You know, that third floor had collapsed upon itself. Like, thank God there were no casualties.
Diane John Bash, founder of the Hispanic Family Foundation, was among the first of the volunteers on the scene.
It was really, really sad. They had nowhere to go. They lost everything. I mean, everything. They lost everything. So they had nowhere to go, no one to turn to. And that's where we stepped in.
The afternoon of the fire, we spoke with Lazaro Gonzalez, a husband and father of two.
I mean, I don't know what we're gonna do now. I mean, everything's gone. It's just gone, just like that.
But also, just like that, those families would have the help they needed.
First things first is let's get a roof over someone's head. Right. Let's get them safe, let's get them secure, and then we'll replace everything that was lost.
Per usual, the Red Cross was there quickly, offering temporary help and housing. But John Bash says large shelters can be intimidating.
When you have babies, when you have children, when you have small children, you're not going to want to go, and especially with the immigrant mentality, you're not going to go and be in a big room with a bunch of strangers sleeping when you, I mean, it's very scary.
Donations poured in, clothes, food, even some furniture. But the immediate need is almost always cash.
If everything is in place and the funding is there, you can immediately be able to give them money to say, here's your deposit, here's your first month's rent, go.
But with today's real estate market, that's not easy. Affordable apartments like these are scarce. It's been almost 1 month since fire ravaged this apartment building, and as you see, the damage is still very visible. They still have a long way to go. But for the displaced families, their road to recovery is much shorter, thanks not only to the Hispanic Family Foundation, but to the owner of this apartment complex, who surprised everyone with his generosity.
That's the first time I've had an apartment complex owner or even management. That's the first time someone has stepped up and said, I am going to help you.
She's talking about Rob Blagojevich, the complex owner. He returned deposits to each affected family, prorated their last rent payment, and even gave them an additional $1,000. That gesture has helped all but one tenant already find new homes in just a matter of weeks, a process that usually takes much longer. Well, no matter the timeline, John Bash says the Hispanic Family Foundation will be there for the victims.
Sometimes it may take a year, 6 months, 2 years, you never know, but we have to follow through with these families and with these individuals all the way until the last one is made whole again.
So good to see. We reached out to Nashville fire officials today. They say the cause of that fire is still under investigation.
But how great